Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Family Sedan channel. It's always impressive to me that despite the material harm done to XRP investors and to the actual adoption of XRP and the XRP as a result of what's happening with the ASAP Brixa, the SEC, the attorneys over there coming after Ripple of harming XRP investors. Despite all of that, XRP has always been, it remains now to this very day, in the top 10 cryptocurrencies by market cap. Yet, as impressive as that is, again, there has been material harm. This can be picked apart. And so I wanted to highlight some of that, and this isn't going to be just a purely some sort of downer message. In fact, to the contrary, it's impressive to me that despite that, there's still been many who are just as resilient as ever, refuse to capitulate to the SEC, or because of the SEC. And we actually see milestones getting hit. Now, I do think that the milestones that were getting hit in terms of specific XRP ledger metrics, I think they'd be even more impressive if not for this having occurred, and I'll explain more why I'm saying that. But they're still impressive, and it still shows that despite all of the nonsense going on for about 2.5 years now, because of the SEC, we are seeing that continued adoption. And so I've got some comments from Attorney John Deaton along the way. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a legal or financial background of any kind. I am not offering legal or financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. And so look, even though I think XRP is going to be worth an absolute fortune in the future compared to where it is now, no guarantee, but that's my suspicion, which is why it's my largest crypto holding. Despite that being my personal belief, XRP absolutely has been harmed in terms of adoption. Adoption has been reduced. Price action is substantially less. There's way less money in XRP than there would otherwise be. I firmly believe that. Now, of course, it doesn't mean that can't be fixed as long as we get proper legal clarity here. But there's a tweet from an XRP community member named Edo Farina, which was shared by Attorney John Deaton. Now, I'll just note here, as far as what Edo Farina wrote in this tweet, I broadly agree, and I think that makes sense, and it's perfectly reasonable to point out. Which is kind of rare because nothing against this guy at all on a personal level. I don't know him. I mean, not on any sort of personal level, but it seems that the majority of things that he states about XRP and his perspectives, or even if not a majority, just like a huge percentage, I disagree with. I think he's missing the mark and doesn't make sense. And sometimes I think he's missing some basic facts and coming to some of the conclusions about XRP he comes to. But he's very pro XRP. And you know what? Maybe people think that I'm wrong on specific things that say he's right, and that's perfectly fine. So all that to say, nothing against him on a personal level. I just tend to disagree with him, and I thought I'd mention that because in this particular instance, I think he's pointing out something that is well worth noticing here, which I think is why Attorney John Deaton ended up retweeting this. And so Edo Farina, XRP, wrote, in 2020, Brazilian bank Rendimento becomes first to use Ripple's blockchain payments entirely in the cloud. When asked if they would use XRP, Bank Rendimento said they wouldn't use XRP due to regulatory reasons. This only gives us an idea of why XRP price isn't high regardless of hundreds of partnerships with financial institutions around the world. They are waiting for regulatory clarity. Ripple to get a massive win against the SEC, and XRP to become the first digital asset ever regulated. And so I appreciate that that's getting brought up. Now, I don't literally 100% agree with that perspective because I think in a general sense, it's pretty clear that there's no shortage of evidence that when it comes to price action for cryptocurrencies, just generally speaking, the crypto asset class moves in tandem. It just does. And so XRP is part of that. So whatever Ripple's going to do, I mean, fine, look, I'll cede the point that when it comes to long-term viability of a crypto, especially as we enter more of a mature asset class, more of a phase where it's a mature asset class, I think cryptocurrencies are going to increasingly be judged on their own merits, their actual real-world adoption, utility, this and that. We're not really sufficiently seeing that right now, but certainly I would agree that in the future, those are the things that people will be looking for. So this idea that if not for the SEC, there would have been further adoption with XRP in on-demand liquidity that would have pushed price higher. I'm actually not as convinced about that. It's more like the price is suppressed because of the SEC, though again, I will cede the point that as the asset class matures and various developers continue to build more and more on top of the XRP ledger, that will result in continued confidence. And I think the fact that there's so much utility and adoption around XRP results in that confidence, and then we still see the bigger moves happen in tandem with the rest of the crypto asset class. It looks more like that to me than just if only Ripple weren't being held down, then XRP would be that much more useful and price would be higher. When the truth is, and I've been here over half a decade watching this literally every single day, whatever Ripple does, good or bad, it doesn't impact the price of XRP. It just doesn't. Now, in fact, I will argue that the SEC impacts the price of XRP more than Ripple ever has. Okay? Because the SEC suing caused a dramatic drop in the price of XRP. That wasn't Ripple, that was the SEC doing that. But because when Ripple puts out any sort of business news specifically relating to XRP, good or bad, the market's like, eh. So to think that would have been any different had the SEC not sued, I'm not really convinced. But that's why I was also kind of explaining my thoughts, because my personal perspective is a bit more nuanced than that. It's that asset classes can mature. And as that happens, yeah, people can behave a little bit differently, and people will, I think, at some point sufficiently appreciate all of the utility that XRP has to offer. And so things change here. But so then he says here, Ripple to get a massive win against the SEC, and XRP to become the first digital asset ever regulated. Well, it's not quite literally true. He's off on a couple little things. I appreciate the sentiment, and if you're speaking broadly, then I would say in a general sense, yes, I agree. But there actually are other cryptocurrencies that have been attacked by the SEC. They come to the conclusion, and now there is certainty surrounding them. So more precisely, XRP, once this is included, XRP would be the only large cap coin on the entire damn planet that would have regulatory clarity, at least from the SEC's perspective. But who knows? Maybe we could have fun and we'll get lucky and another government agency will come out of nowhere and sue Ripple again, and then we're all under attacking. Wouldn't that be a little blasty blast? I don't think that's going to happen, but you get what I'm saying. So somebody here, you can see this is a screen grab that was shared by Edo Farina, and he wrote, somebody named X-Man wrote, "Hello, Bank Rendimento. Are you going to use XRP mechanism as well?" And that was on June 18th, 2020, so about half a year before the SEC sued Ripple. And the bank responded and said, "Hello, no, we're going to use other services from Ripple, but none of them involve XRP." Now, I will say this. I've never thought that that's such a negative, because if you're utilizing Ripple services, especially if you're using RippleNet in any capacity, then it doesn't take much effort at all to begin using on-demand liquidity for settlement purposes. So, all RippleNet customers are always potential on-demand liquidity customers. So get them all on board. It's fantastic. I don't see that as some sort of negative. And then this guy goes by the name X-Men responded and said, "Bank Rendimento, any reason why? Is it due to regulatory reasons or something else?" And the bank responded and said, "Yes, it is for regulatory reasons." Now think about this. And it's, not that they're in the United States anyway, but still, just consider that's before the SEC lawsuit. And they're still, on a global scale in many jurisdictions, it's not perceived that there is sufficient regulatory clarity. So keep that in mind, even once there's regulatory clarity in the United States, it doesn't mean that every single jurisdiction, snap of a finger, will now have sufficient regulatory clarity for XRP or the crypto asset class. But, in terms of price action, I don't suppose that's going to matter. I really don't. All eyes are laser focused on what's happening with XRP in the United States specifically. And so even though almost all of the price action for XRP occurs outside of the United States, it's all these people. That's what's it kind of sounds silly if you haven't thought about it before. And I'm sure many of you have, though. When the price of XRP plummeted because of the SEC allegations, that's because of the volume that was occurring on a global scale, but almost none of that, the volume was coming from within the United States. Yes, the price plummeted and because of negative price action in the United States, but what I'm saying is it was something like 90 or 95% of price action in general for XRP was coming from outside the country. So it's people outside the country that still reacted in a very scared fashion. And it just becomes one of those things where it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, effectively. And so all of this has happened, and it's been incredibly detrimental. Now, Attorney John Deaton retweeted that and wrote, "Some have argued that I'm wrong when I say people grossly underestimate the damage the lawsuit has caused Ripple and XRP. People cite Ripple's growth outside the United States, but the US market is very important. Ripple isn't even offering XRP for its own liquidity hub platform." Yeah, so I've talked about that ad nauseum, so I'll hold off on that for this video. But it's true. And Ripple has cited why. So the only thing I'll note on that topic is It is because of the regulatory uncertainty. Even Ripple is waiting for this lawsuit to be over. And I get it, because if they did offer it, all it's going to do is, if anything, gum up the works from their, considering their current legal efforts against the SEC. So it's like, I don't blame them one bit. Same for like how I don't blame cryptocurrency exchanges that delisted XRP. I actually don't blame it. Now, that said, I've been frustrated with Coinbase for a number of reasons, because the posturing, it's just, to what degree is it disingenuous? Sometimes you got to kind of question. And I got a number of problems with Coinbase, frankly. The platform's great when it actually works, but what about their approach when it comes to Flare? Finally, took forever from the airdrop, and then they still haven't handed over the Songbird tokens, and then they just threw XRP under the bus. And okay, fine, I get it. I actually am not mad about that, but it's still frustrating, even though I don't blame them for being in a position where they're like, well, we better do this to be safe. We got to look out for ourselves. It's still frustrating because they're taking a different approach for all the other cryptocurrencies out there. So far, all the other cryptocurrencies that the SEC has said are securities, Coinbase hasn't delisted a single one. So for the exchanges that didn't delist it, and there's only one based in the United States, or with a heavy presence in the United States, I guess actually I think they might be headquartered. God, where are they? I actually can't remember off the top of my head, but it's Uphold. But they have an actual major office here in the United States, and I know there's also GateHub, and there's BitTrue, but Uphold. I mean, the degree to which they have supported XRP and the XRP community is unparalleled. And they are not a sponsor. They haven't paid me to say a damn thing. I've just been a happy customer for about, I think 5 years at this point. And they've just been here. And you know what? They're reaping the benefit from a business perspective to this point, because all that volume in the United States, I mean, yeah, a lot of people just didn't buy XRP that otherwise would have. But if people wanted XRP, it went to Uphold. And good for them. I mean, a huge chunk of it did. So there is this headline from the Crypto Basic. Deaton explains why Uphold didn't suspend XRP trading in United States. Attorney Deaton said Uphold not suspending XRP trading is one of the best decisions in crypto history. Yeah, and I'll say this too. Even though I actually don't blame, like I said a second ago, any of the exchanges that delisted XRP because of this nonsense situation they found and because of the SEC, I still think that we should extra applaud any exchange that has continued to support XRP, because that takes an extra level of bravery and certainty in your legal position. I mean, from a legal perspective, having that confidence, it's not like they're being reckless about it. I saw the CEO talk about this, right after it happened, almost 2.5 years ago. And he said, look, we consulted our attorneys, and none of them thinks that any of this makes any sense, so we're just going to stand our ground. I'm paraphrasing, but that's the message that was conveyed. That should be applauded. And I think that's the reason there's been so much support towards Uphold from the XRP community to this point. Anyway, piece continues though. Crypto law founder attorney John Deaton made new comments about the decision by crypto exchange Uphold not to suspend XRP trading, despite the SEC alleging that the coin is a security. In a tweet today, attorney Deaton asserted that Uphold not suspending XRP trading after, quote, conflicted and compromised, end quote, SEC officials will go down as one of the best decisions in crypto history. Here's a quote from attorney Deaton. Uphold deciding to not suspend the trading of XRP simply because a lawsuit was filed by compromised, conflicted regulators whose motives were questioned by one of the most esteemed SEC regulators of all time, that'd be Grundfest, will go down as one of the best decisions in crypto history, end quote. Damn straight, attorney Deaton, well said. The pro-XRP lawyer made this known while reacting to reports that the U.S.-based crypto exchange launched its institutional business and trading platform. Dr. Martin Heisbach, whose name I probably butchered, my bad, Uphold's head of research, revealed the development. So look, they have been insistent upon continuing to support XRP and supporting the XRP community, and now they're launching this on an institutional level. What do you think might happen? As XRP finally receives legal clarity, should it be positive? I'll tell you what, as far as I'm concerned, Uphold deserves all the positive results from that are coming their way, should we get the positive result from the court that we're all expecting here. Damn straight. Now, despite all of this, though, not everything is bad. So there continues to be adoption for XRP and the XRP ledger. It's incredibly impressive, frankly. Lots of people were predicting XRP would have been out of the top 10 cryptos by market cap at this point, but and again, I firmly believe that price action suppressed, actual developer activity suppressed, all that stuff. But even so, there's some milestones that have been hit. Now, one that I reported on several days ago is the fact that it took about 10 and a half years, but the XRP ledger closed its 80 millionth ledger. That's just a cool milestone. It just keeps chugging along. Over a decade later, it just keeps going, regardless of what the little ass hat pricks at the SEC have to say. And then we had this from the other day from Thomas Silkjar. He tweeted out the following: ran some fresh stats on the XRP ledger as we have crossed the 5 million account mark. That's right, folks. Since inception, over 5 million new XRP accounts created. But he also notes only 4.7 million exist at this moment. But as the stats were made a few days ago, 5 million had been active over time. Now, it does make you wonder, how many more accounts would that number be? Above 5 million had the SEC not suppressed the price of XRP during that 2021 bull run. Because XRP was the only top 10 crypto to not hit a new all-time high during the 2021 bull run. XRP is the only one. Oh, and it just happened to be getting attacked by the SEC. Only went to $2 instead of a new all-time high. And while $2 admittedly was fun, hadn't been there in a hot minute, it's not the same as a new all-time high in entering price discovery. So how many more accounts would have been created? Would it be like 1, 2, 3 million more than that? Because way more people are in crypto? Well, I'll tell you this for comparison's sake. Before XRP had its biggest run in history, so roughly the middle of December 2017, there were a little less than 700,000 accounts created at that point. Again, now there's over 5 million. Back then in 2017, December, 700,000. After 2.5 weeks, which brought us to the end of the price action, at least heading towards the top. There were more accounts created after that. But over that period, it was something like 300,000 new accounts. And way fewer people were paying attention to crypto back then. So still, in 2.5 weeks, you got hundreds of thousands of accounts. So it makes you wonder, given that there were more eyes focused on crypto in 2021, even though the percentage gains for, in terms of alt season wasn't as impressive, there were more humans coming in, more dollars flowing in. How many more accounts would we have seen? Would we be at like 6 million accounts by now, or 7? I think way more accounts would have been open, because I believe personally, I really believe this, XRP would have hit a new all-time high by now. I firmly believe that. So yeah, that would have brought a lot more attention. But that's why I said even so, this video isn't exclusively Downersville. It's still going the right direction despite all of this. That part's cool. 80 million ledgers closed, over 5 million accounts created, and developer activity up today compared to a year ago despite all this. You ain't stopping XRP, SEC. And you're on the wrong side of history, and I think that just let time pass, and that's going to be proven. So for me, yes, certainly acknowledging some of the negative aspects of what's going on here, but plenty of reason to be optimistic. It's still a message of optimism in the end, for me anyway. I'm excited for this. I am here for it. And I think that the rest of 2023 is going to be very exciting in a very good way for XRP holders. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the Moon Family Sedan.